I'm live. Hey. All right. How's everybody doing? Very nice. I was just checking to see real quick. Looks like a bunch of you come on early, and that's awesome. So that's good that the scheduling of the live chat's working out. See, I want to stare at something, and I hate to stare at the green dot. So I'm going to stare at myself, unfortunately, as I always do. Let's get down here. Let's see. Oh, man. So we're all here. Happy Friday, everyone. Just having my coffee, a little of my vape. All right. Let me turn my phone off. So, yeah, very good. It's Friday night. I'm in my back space, my new back space. I would show you the whole. It's a nice room. It's a bigger room than the office I had before, and it's secluded. It's like down a whole separate hallway down my house, a side hallway, and I have my own bathroom, which is really nice. And yeah, it's really cool. I got a new little bookshelf. I'm pretty proud of my bookshelf. It's got a lot of my little things on there, my awards for my films, and it's got the portal down below, and it's got all my little tchotchkes and little things that I have, my little antique Ghostbuster card, my crystals, and all the wonderful gifts that people have sent me. Wonderful things, cleansing things, crystals, all kinds of cool stuff. So it is really cool. I'd love to say hi to everyone. I think there's enough people that it's hard for me to name off anyone. I do want to say right now, welcome to the new patrons, the few that we have. Danelle Gerard, someone which named their thing Venus Impact. So Venus Impact, which is not your real name, I'm sure. If it is, that's a cool name. So that's cool. And then who's the other one we have? Lonnie and Alicia. Lonnie and Alicia are the new people. Oh, I think Steph Sheets is back. So that's nice. Very good. So let's run through it. I have a bunch of things to talk about. It's been kind of a weird week. It's been a weird, it's not bad, it's just weird. Yeah. So I don't know. Sorry. All right. It has been weird. So let me just go into the group session that this month, September's group session. I'm announcing the date. I will be doing that by myself, of course. As far as video, it won't be live like this. It won't be something you'll have to tune into for anyone that's new. It's Thursday the 27th. Thursday the 27th at 11 p.m. Empress, do you have a question? I think that's what you're raising your hand for. Hey, that's kind of cool. Maybe we should raise hands. I don't know. I don't know. That's why you're doing that. If there's a question, Empress, no problem. Go ahead and ask it. Group session, like I said, Thursday, September 27th. I'll be doing it around 11 p.m. She's just saying hi. Okay. Very good. So remember that Thursday, 27th, I'll be doing it around 11 p.m. If you have a name that you've given me, it's on file. If you've watched the group session and I haven't called a loved one's name for you, it's because I don't have a name. So make sure that I have a name. If you want me to ask for someone that you're in the $10 tier, make sure I have a name. And if you want to change the name, just make sure it's just one name. I'm only going to ask for one name. I know some of you have given me multiple people, and I try to accommodate, and I think it takes more time. And some people may not be able to get an answer because I can only probably get, and I'm going to start changing it up. I'm going to start changing the order. I'm not going to ask for these people all in the same order because it sounds like between 25 and 30 answers is all I can get because that's how many can come through in an hour. That's what it feels like. So, but see, Deborah, you're saying 11 p.m. is good for you, 7 a.m. for me. That you don't have to tune into it. You just maybe want to focus during that time. So that I understand, but you don't have to make sure that you're like, you don't have to be awake if you don't want to be or whatever. No one needs to be like tuning in at that exact time when I'm doing the group session. But anyway, yeah, so make sure I have a name. Anyway, that's all. Some other thing real quick. Patreon sent me this message about how they're charging people sometimes and how it shows up on the statement, and some credit card companies think it's fraudulent or something, and so that it's like a kickback or a decline or whatever. I don't know. I know that every month there's about 6 to 7 declines, and then most of those people get the email and then I guess update their card, and then I guess it fixes itself. I don't know. So there's still about 6 people that have had their, hey, Lonnie, welcome. I just welcomed all the new patrons. But anyway, for the chargeback, so if you've noticed an email or if something hasn't happened where you didn't see it on the card or whatever, I don't know. But just know that I don't think it's showing up on the statements as Patreon. I think it says something else. So just be mindful of that, or I don't know. It's kind of an annoying thing for me to have to bring it up to you guys. I don't want to have to discuss it as much as I it's like you guys give what you give, and I do what it's a wonderful thing, and I'm very grateful for it. So, whatever. I just needed to bring it up because Patreon brought it up to me. All right. Lizzie says PayPal. Okay, cool. I don't know. I just, I know people have had issues. They've messaged me, they've asked me, and I'm like, I don't really know. I don't run the processing department there, so I really don't know. I don't have a new video this week. That's rare. I normally have a video every week. Yep. See, Susan just said, I'm sorry. I'm going to stop looking at the comments now, but let's just start talking, and then I'll go back if I need to. But Susan just said she got a call from Patreon, or she got a call from her credit card asking if the Patreon charge was legit. So some cards are not, trying to protect you. That's great, but they're, I guess, flagging it for whatever reason. So just be mindful of that. All right. Anyway, I'm going to just kind of tune out from the comments for a minute, guys. I'm just going to talk for a couple things here. So I don't have a new video this week. I'm working on just trying to put together kind of a montage of a couple clips from the group session and couple different, things that happened, some clips from like the recordings during the week, a couple, things that I've done. But that's it. It's really been focused for me. It's been trying to take some time to relax after those messages came through from Michael saying, it was too much in the month of August, and it was definitely too much. I thought that, normally I would do about, 7 to 10 readings, maybe a month. I might do, and then in the sessions, I normally don't do box sessions for people up until Patreon came. I wasn't really doing those. I wasn't charging people. I didn't do them. It was either a group session or my own private sessions for me. And so, I want to help. Everyone wanted to reach someone, and I figured, okay, I started doing a couple in one day, and I'm like, well, that's too much. So then I said, I'll only do one a day, and I won't do 7 days a week. Anyway, you guys know what happened. I did a lot, and we got a lot of responses, a lot of great validation for patrons from their loved ones and answers. Some people got names of their spirit guides, which isn't an easy thing to get, I guess. It was a wild month as far as putting out what I did. And I burnt myself out in a sense, and my guides had no problem letting me know that, they were burnt out too. So a couple things happened where it was like all of those sessions My teacher, Deborah Katz, she's always said, whether you're doing, readings like, regular intuitive psychic readings, medium readings, you do a lot of them in a row and you don't do the proper care afterwards because you get busy and you think, I'll be all right. Most of the time I do it, but when you're doing one every day, sometimes a reading also on top of a box session, you think, hey, I could probably get away with not doing my full chakra groundings and all these kinds of things that I know to do. You think you can kind of get away with that. It's like you want to work out, but you only have 30 minutes before you have to get to a meeting. So you're not going to do your full stretching. You're just going to do, and then bam, you pay for it because you didn't loosen up and now you pulled a muscle. It's kind of, I guess, the same situation in a psychic way. Common sense would say, of course, Josh, why didn't you know that? I do know that. I did know that, but it's kind of, like I said, you get busy, you think that you can handle it. I guess complacency, it can be our worst enemy. So I didn't properly take care of myself in that sense, which that's been corrected in that way. And then I had that weird thing happen with the whole X thing that was very strange. I don't hold any resentments really towards him or whatever. I'm sure that at some point, again, I'm probably going to be asked or it's going to be brought up for me to help him or I don't know, and I'm open to that when the time comes. And I'm going to trust that, my higher power and guides that they're going to, but it was weird getting some weird stuff coming in from X. That was a very weird thing after trying to help him. That kind of threw me off. And because of the energy depletion, I didn't ask as much through the recorder that week, pretty much. And excuse me, as I mentioned in the last Friday's live stream, for anyone new, I'll just kind of mention it because there's a few people that might have missed it, is that, I was able to get a hold of a forensic audio expert named Ed Primo. He's the guy that was on CNN cleaning up the Trump tapes for when Trump was talking about paying someone off or something. And hey, Danielle. And so I've got him, I'm paying him, pretty high hourly rate. Steve and I are both doing it. We both split it together, where I'm going to be recording something on the second DR60 that I got. I got a second one. And I'm supposed to be recording some stuff on there and then sending it off to this lab, to this expert, where they will try to extract it from the recorder. And if they can't, then they'll try to analyze it with what they have there. One way in about whether they think it's human speech, which, I'm pretty sure that they will say something to that effect, and then try to clean it up and try to decipher it on their own and maybe advise us on what we could possibly do with those kinds of recordings on this recorder. So I've been trying to do that, and it hasn't been going that well yet. It's not that it's gone bad. It's just that there's kind of a bigger problem, or I don't know, a bigger issue. It's not a problem. It's a bigger something that's going on. And I'll get to that. So I've been trying to do the Ed Primo recordings, and that will happen. But it hasn't happened yet. And so I've been also, because of the moving to the back, I've had I had to move. It's like kind of like a little mini move. I've had to really do all kinds of stuff, and it's taken me out of it a little bit. But all the things that I've recorded, mostly from Michael, in these Primo forensic audio recordings, and some of my own just random, questions, I'm not understanding it. I'm not understanding them. I'm making out a couple things, but it's been more increasingly difficult almost. And it's been weird. It's been a little strange, and I talked to Steve. I talked to Steve Huff quite a bit, and we were on the phone, and he's saying, "Yes," he says, "I'm feeling like the same way. I'm feeling a little disconnect, or I'm off, a little off. He goes, my group session was a little off, he said. And he's not understanding his messages on the DR60. I mean, he's tagging them on some of them, but he's not sure, and he feels the same way I do. Like they're changing. Like I'll tag it one night, go next day, listen to it again, and it's something completely different. So it's been kind of keeping me from just putting out a video, because it's like, what's going on here? What's changing here? I've always thought that these things can change, and change is just because, just like they're manipulating the sound coming out of the portal. So I hook up the portal, I'm piping through the PSB7, SCD2 app, whatever, and it's coming through there, and it says one thing coming through because that's what's coming through the radio or the app, but the spirit manipulates it coming out of the box and is able to be recorded on video as saying, hello, hi, Josh. Yes, I'm here. Whatever it is that they're answering me. Well, what's to change that recording from changing when I'm listening to it in a headphone? So they can change it coming out of the portal initially, but they can't change it coming from my computer into my ears. So I think that something like that has been the case. I think that something like that, and that's very non-scientific, and that's not an answer that a scientist would say, yeah, that's like pareidolia of the mind, of hearing it. So that's not a very acceptable answer, but that could very well be the case. See, I mean, now they're starting to say that, the leading people in parapsychology right now are, a lot of them are quantum physicists, and a lot of them are scientists. They're not just, my teacher, Deborah Katz, is getting her PhD in parapsychology. She's not a scientist, but there are a lot of them. So there's this merging of, metaphysics and quantum physics together. I mean, it's really a merging of it. So it's very interesting. But so it's leading again to, I've talked to Steve. Yeah, like the Yanni and Laurel. Very good. Lonnie Smith says like the Yanni and Laurel. And that's what we're feeling right now. Okay. That's, it's starting to get a little weird. And I don't know. Steve is saying at the same time that the messages have been a little bit more critical. It sounds like, I can't understand what they're saying, but it sounds like there's like something more critical they have to tell me, or like I'm either, not that I'm doing something wrong, but I'm not doing something that I should be doing. Like I should be calling extra light, or focusing on the light more, or doing something else. Steve feels like he's getting that too. Like they're saying like he's missing something that they're trying to say to him, as I feel the same way. And it's gotten me frustrated, but then I have to just kind of turn over my confusion and my misunderstandings to my higher power, Jesus Christ. Because when I have nowhere else to go, and I don't know, this human brain is limited on some level and is not allowing me to figure it out, because that's not a brain thing. It's an intuitive thing. It's a heart thing. It's a third eye thing. Then, I just have to just turn it over and ask for understanding in that time. Not understanding. I'm just looking at my notes. Yeah. So Steve and I have been going through a lot of the same things. And again, I think this is a kind of a symptom of a bigger problem, or a bigger issue. It's not a problem. I keep saying problem. I don't think that's the right answer. I tried recording 3 separate times for those forensic audio files to record and send to the expert. And they, like I said, the messages are just really strange, and I'm not really making them out. Tonight, when I was leaving, I started something about 4.5 years ago, a little after I started paranormal, as far as like the channel, I should say. This channel was like over 5 years ago. So this is about 4 years ago. I started something called Life Anonymous. Most of you know, I've told you about it, shared it with you. It's a program. It's like a meeting. It's not a program. It's a meeting for anybody. But we focus on the 12 steps, because I'm going to tell you something. I've said it before and I'll say it again. The 12 steps, minusing any word alcohol in it, because it's nothing to do with alcohol. I know that the 12 steps of Alcoholics Anonymous are one of the secrets to life. And they're hidden in Alcoholics Anonymous, which is freaking, to me, is ridiculous. Like, it's just weird. But the steps 1 through 12 will unlock another reality for you. It's not easy. It is absolutely worth it, though. Like, I don't know how else to say that. So I don't care if you've understood 12-step programs because you've known someone, or you yourself, or you don't know what I'm talking about. Try to, identify with what you can relate to and don't compare. And I'm telling you, the 12 steps are the secret to this life and the afterlife. And it's not the 12, it's just what's in them. They're hidden in every other, post the 12 steps to out. Yeah, I can. Yeah. Someone's going to do it before I do. So I don't even have to say it. But yeah, the 12 steps are really amazing. I mean, let me see something real quick here. Now that I have my library, let's see. Just so you guys, 67, 61, 60. I should know where my I was just going to read them to you guys. Yeah, it's right here. All right, so it's 1, and I'm going to add in my own substitute, because I'm not going to. The life steps are on my site. They're on lifeanonymous.com. Lifeanonymous.com. That's my website for the program that I started the meeting. It's really a meeting, but it's 1. We admitted we were powerless over people, places, and things. That our lives had become unmanageable. When unmanageable doesn't mean like your life is out of control. It just means that there could be one aspect of it that's unmanageable. It could be your weight. It could be, gambling. It could be, or just your anger. It could be shopping. It could be anything. It could just be gossiping, something small. If it's something that you start to lose power over and you keep doing it when you don't want to really kind of do it, that's a problem. Came to believe that a power greater than ourself could restore us to sanity. Power greater than ourselves, meaning God. They don't like to say God too much because, God is mentioned, but they like to say power of your own understanding. We give you your own right to find your own God. 3 is made a decision to turn your will and life over to the care of God as you understand him, which is so cool, because most religions are like, this is our God and this is what you need to be believing. But here they're saying, find a God of your own understanding. And then it doesn't matter. You're going to find the truth anyway. And that's really cool how they let you do that. They let you find. This is where it gets interesting. Made a searching and fearless moral inventory of yourselves. This stuff is not easy. A lot of people stop at step 4. They do 1, 2, and 3. And they're like, serenity prayer is a big deal. Yeah. It's a very simple prayer. God grant me the serenity to accept the things I can change. Right, I just said it wrong. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference between those two. And the step 4 is like where you would actually sit, you pray before God, you ask a friend to help you that has some knowledge of this, but you sit by yourself and you write down the people that have pissed you off, and you write down what they did to you. You write down how it affected your life. So there's like 4 columns. First is the name. Second is what they did to you. Third is, how did it affect your life? Did it affect, my money? Did it affect my personal relationship with the person? Did it affect my sexual relationship with them, or maybe they're not whatever. Did it affect my pride? You know, and there's all, so you look at that. What did it affect? How did it affect, the life, our life? And then the last column is, what was your role in it? And people always like, oh, I didn't have any role in it. They pissed me off. I'm mad at them. They should, But what we find out is that we always had a role in it. We always have a role in it. So we look at it honestly. We ask God to be thorough. We look at the role of what we did. Well, I was selfish here. He said this, and then I just reacted and kept it going, and then I had the resentment, and then so you got to see what your role was. Very interesting stuff. After you've done that, you've seen, you admit to God, to yourself, and to another human being the exact nature of your wrongs with those people that you had your role in. 7 is humbly asked him to remove your shortcomings. What's a shortcoming? Oh no, I skipped 6. We are entirely ready to have God remove all these defects of character. Defects are like being selfish, self-centered, self-seeking.